Alright, good evening. This is the second video of the Above Average Black Man. Um, I want to talk about a topic that really is near and dear to my heart, mainly because I have a hard time sticking with it, and that's consistency and perseverance. Now, all my life, depending on what it was and how hard-headed I was, I would be persistent in anything I want to do. I did it when I was in football. I did it when I was in band. Something I really wanted to do. Now, was I the best at it? No. I'm going to have to tell the truth. I really didn't have that dog in me. When I wanted to do something, I would do it and do it to the best of my ability. But to be really good at something, you got to have that dog in you. That dog that's going to tell you, I'm going to be the best no matter what. That wasn't me. If I was good at it, then I was good at it. I really didn't have any delusions of grandeur like that. And to be quite honest, sometimes you need to be a little bit delulu to be really good at something. And I don't mean to the point of just actual delusion, delirium, just in a fucking daze where no one or nothing makes sense. We don't need that kind of delusion. What I mean is, it has been said before, you got to see yourself 5-10 years from now. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What is it that you want to do? What is it? What is your real goals? And as a man who unofficially thinks he has ADHD, I was everywhere. But whatever I wanted to do, I would do it. At one point, I told my wife I wanted to be a firefighter, and I put my heart and soul into that. I really did. But also, I was a McDonald's manager working night shift who had to work the day shift of being a firefighter. So sleep deprivation was pretty much a prerequisite in my book. Not because I had to, but because that's what I did. I didn't know until 3 weeks in that I could actually go to sleep at the firefighter's office. Didn't really help due to the simple fact that we were always on call. And during the daytime, if you're a volunteer fighter or a fighter in general, that's when you'll get the most calls. The least calls you get are at night. And trust me, when you get a call at night, it is serious. It is deadly serious. But anyway, I want to talk about consistency and persistence. To be good at anything, or to just get better at health, body, anything. To get good at anything, you need to be consistent. And I think one of the hardest things for people starting over or starting anything is their consistency. And there are a plethora of excuses. I'm not one to brag or boast or to say that, hey, if I could do it, you could too. No, I've literally stopped on so many things. The list is just continuous at this point. I just recently started back doing my 40 push-ups a day. 3 days ago, I literally took 2 cold showers in a week. I used to be consistent in that. I almost got up to doing it for a whole entire month. It was supposed to be part of my wake-up schedule. I would wake up, take a quick cold shower, exercise, and then get right back to what I was doing. But also, I had to get my kids up, get them ready for school, and out the door. So that means either one or two things. I either wake up early or do it when they got off. And since I was already waking up early, the closest thing I could do was get them ready and then do a quick stretch. Completely cut out the cold shower. But for me, cold shower was actually working. It was making me alert. I didn't have to worry about getting my first cup of coffee. It actually helped my sleep cycle a lot better. Before I even touched that first cup of coffee, I was already awake and aware. It was just an extra boost to the day, you know? Exercising took a little bit more because I had to figure out what I wanted to do, what part of the body that I wanted to do, what was going to be routine. Do I do legs on Monday? Sit abs on Tuesday, arms on Thursday, work on my chest on Wednesday and Thursday, that kind of thing. And how long and how many days I was going to do it. And for a while, I had a consistent schedule until I didn't have a consistent schedule. But regardless, if I wanted to get better at my health, I had to put these things forward. And for me, even if I've written stuff down, I still had to be consistent enough to go back and look at what I had written. I mean, I'm not. Look, I'll show you. I can show you book after book. This is my personal journal that I haven't done in several months. This is my workout log. See, literally, workout log. And if you're in the military, you already know what this book is. I even have a content book to keep me consistent on what I want to talk about and display to you. I'm a new creator on this. So it's going to take me a while to be consistent in this. And that's one of the things that I think every man needs to understand, or every young male who's going to be coming to their own man. They got to be consistent. And it doesn't just have to do with exercising or their new career in entrepreneurship or whatever. It's just being consistent. That even means keeping your word. As my mom told me, you're only born with two things. That is your name and your word. And whatever, if you can't keep your word, then you don't have any respect on your name. And that's just what it is. It goes down to who people see you as. Are you a man of your word? Now, I took those words with a grain of salt for a while. And I don't mean in the fact that I just didn't care. What I mean is, I didn't really put into thought how deep it goes. It's one thing to break a promise. As long as you apologize and come through in the end, then people will give you grace. It's a whole nother thing to have a reputation of just breaking promises, not keeping your word. People may be around you, but they don't want to be around you. They don't want to associate themselves with you if you cannot keep your word, if you cannot be honorable. And that is very, very, very important to a man. We keep talking about we need to be respected. Keeping your word, no matter what, is the base definition of consistency. If you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to be here at 3 o'clock. If you're in the military, you already know. Show up 5 to 10 minutes early. They'll tell you this right now. If you got a doctor's appointment, try to get there 15 minutes early. Why? Because 1, you get to sit in and you don't have to worry. 2, the doctor can finish right up and take you right back in to do it. Not the doctor. You get to get in and do what you need to do and then get out. It takes less time that way. And lastly, you're keeping your word. People can believe in you. So if something does happen, people are like, hey, where did this person go? Did they leave a note? But they're never like this. They are always consistent. And being consistent goes a long way. The next thing I want to talk about real quick before I go really in depth is persistence. A lot of people confuse persistence, especially when it comes to relationships. And I really want us to really lock in and define this. Lock in on the definition of this. I should have wrote it down. But basically, it is consistently to the point of annoyance in the pursuit of a goal. Okay? It is stubbornness, hard-headedness, but in a constructive manner. And yes, I Googled it, and these were some of the words in the source. But persistence is not really negative. You have a clear cut goal and you want to attain it. But depending on what it is, sometimes the way you may go about it may be the wrong way. And sometimes you may be going after the wrong goal. You may have this vision like, if I do A, B, and C, I'm eventually going to get to X, Y, and Z. When sometimes that's not how it works. If Z is your end goal, then sometimes you may be skipping C and D, go to E and F, don't even recognize H and I, and just blaze through the rest of the alphabet to get to the end goal of Z. But it did not go as you thought. Some things are not step by step by step. But persistence in a goal, a singular goal, will drive you to success. Even if it's not 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes you're going to have to skip steps. Sometimes there are no steps. But as long as you find your way in a persistence of a goal, that's good. That is awesome. But in pursuits of a relationship, you may have this idea of this girl that you want to get, and she's constantly just rejecting you. Sometimes that girl ain't the one for you, and that's cool. But being persistent in finding that girl changes. Now you have to refine on what you're actually looking for in a girl, in a female, in the woman that you want. And I think that's what we really need to lock on is that if you're persistent in finding your certain someone, it's not always going to be a look. It is going to be a feeling, and it's also going to go down to the traits and behaviors that they display. So, to really lock in, persistence in a goal is good, but it's not always going to be step by step by step. Sometimes you skip steps, sometimes you miss steps. But as long as you pursue it in a positive way and you can deal with the pitfalls, that's the quintessential definition of persistence, but also consistency. You're not letting the pitfalls, the hangups, the shortstops stop you from completing that goal. Like for me, right now, as I said before, I'm on level 1. And I'm persistent in developing a routine that is good for me, that'll help me make better content by being consistent in creating content, but also creating a space where you don't feel like you've lost. Now, time may run out before you get to that plateau. No one can stop time, and no one can predict death. But in the pursuit of perfection, we find excellence. That was Theodore Roosevelt. I have never forgotten that since I was in Great Lakes. When I saw that quote, I remember word for word, line for line, and who said it. And then it was pointed out to me by one of my petty officers, E5s. When we have a goal in mind, we want to pursue it to perfection. And in that sense, we build up and create excellence. Being consistent and being persistent in a goal, that is positive. Having better health, being more consistent in entrepreneurship or in creating anything is what men find is what men define as creating a purpose, is our purpose. The highest purpose is whatever your spiritual deity or religion is. So if you believe in the Most High Yah, if you believe in the Most High Yah and you keep focus on Him while pursuing your goal, more power to you. Buddha, Allah, more power to you. But having a purpose in life and being consistent and persistent in that purpose will open up doors for you and keep you level-headed and keep you going. Because sometimes life will beat you up and you don't feel like doing it. You don't feel like doing it, but the motivation of being consistent always wins in the end. I was going to get a little bit deeper into this. See, this is why I write shit down. This is why I write shit down. I would skip all over my own notes. One of the things I didn't talk about, this is why I told you, I gotta write shit down. One of the things that I need to talk about is management and being persistent and being consistent. One of the things that in the pursuit of our goals, we encounter burnout. And burnout sucks. This is why the motivation of being consistent can be arduous process, because sometimes you don't want. It's okay to take a break, to recuperate, recharge, reassess, reevaluate, analyze, to then initialize, take action, and go back to being consistent and persistent in your goals. But you're going to have to manage it. Some days you can go hard. Some days you're going to have to take it easy, just so you can go harder the next day. But it's about continuing the process, making progress, fast or slow. The only person you're racing against is you, unless you're in an actual race. So let's not be silly. And the biggest opponent, your biggest rival, will always be yourself. I told you, I battle with consistency. I have multiple books to help me remain motivated and consistent, so I can become the better self. It's all in how you want to direct your life. My life for the longest time was directionless. I thought I was being a man. I thought I was being consistent in doing my husbandly duties. But I was lacking. And there's nothing I can do to change that, other than being consistent and being better than I was those previous years. And that's all I can say. If this helps you out in any way, put it in the comment section. I really appreciate it. I thank you for all my subscribers that I have. I don't care how many I have of y'all. I thank you for even listening to me, hearing my opinion, hearing me rattle on, and you not being annoyed. I thank you so much for that. This is really scary for me, and scared is carrying a lot of weight. But being consistent and getting comfortable in making this content and seeing how you guys really react to this, negative and positively, I'm going to see it. But I do thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And this will conclude today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and always aim above mediocrity. Peace.